Hey, just stepped onto the boat. Few tasks to do today. I'm so happy that I got the thermostat from our friends at Book. That's the actual sender. So it's not the thermostat, it's actually just the sensor. Sensor and the sender to go to the gauges. I've got a gauge, as you can see there, one at the front and one here in the cabin. So if I am in the cabin, I can see the gauge here. That's what it looks like. It's quite simple, but bloody expensive. It cost me $200 just for this, and online it's actually more expensive. So I thought that I could, see if I could find something maybe at Repco or Super Cheap Auto with a similar tread, because all it really is, I think, it's just a bloody sensor. But yeah, I splurged and bought the sensor for $200 and a couple other things as well. And I should remember as well, while I'm here and thinking of it, that when I put the sensor on, I should always remember to put the copper washer on it as well, because what this does, it actually earths the whole thing so the sender can work. The one end of the sender here is for the gauge, and the other is for the warning light and also the buzzer. So if it gets too warm, the buzzer goes off. So it's a critical thing to have. So I thought I'd not just use just a cheapy one and get the right thing. Book again, yeah. Glenn at Book, good bloke, good guys. And so we get more light in here. I'll go to the front also and just open up the hatch to get some air through. Let's find something to hold the hatch open. There's a bottle there, so I'll stick this on that. Okay, otherwise everything is good. I'm very happy. The boat, yeah, it is what it is. She was born in 1979. It's a Compass 29 boat, which means it's 29 foot. It's a sloop. And she's a bloody good sailor. I love her. Yes, more modern boats. They're always pretty and sexy and shinier. But yeah, they're much more expensive as well. And for my type of bloke, an old bloke like me, I shouldn't say old bloke, but a young at heart bloke like me, it's a perfect boat. Easy to maintain, easy to move around, and simple enough to sail. Okay, so I'll just open off the engine cover. Here we go. That's just the top lid of the step. I'll take this off as well. That's just the lid. And I'll show you what we're looking at again. I love working on my boat. It's my man shed. So Glenn there at Book said, make sure that you remember, we will never try very hard not to use the word forget, but to remember to put the copper gasket or washer on the top here as we put this in. So there we go, that's the copper washer. Has to make contact. So the last one the one I took out, regretfully stripped. So I've been warned also, we've got a big 19 spanner, to make sure that I don't strip this one as I put it in. So I'll put the ring on it. No, I'll put the normal spanner on it and I'll wind it in gently. There's not much pressure, water pressure here, so as long as it doesn't leak, it should be okay. But as we can see here, yes, it has two connections coming out of it. The bigger one is for the actual gauge, and the other one is for the alarm. They transmit negative power, so the gauges and the alarm has positive continuous on it. As soon as you turn the key, your ignition on, there's positive on the gauge and also on the alarm. So there she goes, and just gently tighten her. Okay, I think I've tightened her enough without causing any damage. So yeah, the cable's here. The red one is for the gauge. Clip this on, it's the gauge. Perfect. Oh, what did I do? I say, but what I say is not what I did. So be careful to do what you need to do. There we go. So that's it. The water down here is switched off. I don't know if I can show you on the camera, but I'll take the camera closer, show you what we're doing. The water there is switched off, so I need to switch it on, and then I'll start the motor and just see what happens. But this, yeah, is the book DV10. It's a good motor, she runs well. I'd be happier if she had 10 or 15 more horsepower to push us along quicker in the current, but as you say, you can only get what you can afford. So there we go. Well, there we go. It seems to be running okay. And let's see if there's any leaks. Water leaks there, we keep the motor running a while just to see how we go. See, the temperature comes up, that's the gauge there, the temperature is the gauge there, see, the temperature comes up. I'll just talk you through what I'm doing as I do it. I'm sure there'll be a lot of editing in this as well. I'm just going to take these nuts and bolts off here. I've just decided to turn this thing the other way around. This is the mount for the AIS antenna that I'm putting on. So I actually think I might come back to you on this, but what I'm doing is taking this off, flipping it around and putting it back on the outside. Hey, we're back. So I'll just keep on going. Okay, confirm this is not beer, this is just an orange fizzy drink. So what am I doing? So washer with the lock wash on it as well. So yeah, what I'm going to do here, I'm just going to turn it around, tighten it up, get a hacksaw to this here and just cut it down so these long things don't protrude out here. It's always the last knot that's always the tightest, so cut that off. I'll put another one afterwards, but the idea is to turn it up like that and have the aerial stand off on the top of this. That's going to be a VHF aerial for my AIS. So it's going to be something like that without pinching a wire. I think that'll do the job. And let everybody know where I am. As I showed you earlier, I had the adapter that actually took in two aerials and dual them up on to the aerial that's on the mast at the moment. But I find that that is maybe not the most desired way to do it, so I'm going to do it the left-handed way. I'll just hand tighten this. Oh, the wind's come up. It's quite windy out here. Just take my spanner and just tighten it up. Tighten them up, will go on the top there. It's also fairly flexible, so when I get in and out the boat, it shouldn't impede my access at all. There we go. I like it. Let me get the hacksaw. That's one off. Let me get the spanner. I'll be back. Gonna pause. Okay, so that's the aerial. That's what the aerial looks like. I now have to get a couple of cable ties, tie down with the cable ties, and also just make it a whole bit bigger so I can take it down into the deck and into the hull and take it towards where the actual radio is. So there we go. There. The phone's on the gimbal, on what I think they call an Osmo 3 gimbal, so it actually tries to be stabilized and stay in one position, but sometimes as the boat swings on the mooring, the camera still faces that way, the boat has gone the other way, and that's why sometimes you see whoop, 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 as the boat moves. So I just want to cut this silicone down the bottom here. I'm not sure where you're looking at, but there's the silicone that I have in a hole down here already. So if it's a good thing, I can use the same hole. I also have to be careful here. This is the navigation light, the tail or the stern navigation light, just a little white light that's connected up to my navigation lights. I have two sets of navigation lights. When I'm in the harbour and close to a lot of other traffic that's down low, I just put what I call my running lights on, and that's the starboard and the port light, and this white light here at the back on the stern. So boats in the harbour and low down actually see it, because if I have my other navigation lights on, the ones that's up on top of the mast, a lot of boats don't actually look up there to see what's happening and what's happening on eye level, and a lot of them at night don't actually see you. So you got to do when you're in Rome what the Romans have done, and a lot of them are doing it with their navigation lights at eye level, and that's why I have these navigation lights down low for eye level, so these guys can see me. Otherwise at night, yeah, I get lost in all the urban lights, and sometimes with no fault of them of them, they don't see me. And it can be a safety issue for everybody involved, and it's like a risk and an accident that you really just don't want to let happen. So you err in caution. That's what I recommend you do. Okay, get the plug on, particularly like doing, and that's going into the back, very back here, to grab this cable. I'll see if I can use a boat hook to help me actually grab it when I'm down there, because otherwise I'll have to go all the way back, stick my arm in the back here, and then do it. It is, yeah, you got to do what you got to do. Sometimes it's more challenging, but for me it's predictable. So I'll just take the battery out of it, because this is very sharp and spins around. If you get it wrong, you cut yourself. So get a small strip. Just another squall. I love my wife and I love my dog, but I also like being out here, just enjoying it. My man cave. Go inside, Jared, and get a decent screwdriver. You can easily pop this out while you're mucking around. Okay, so what I'm going to do, cable tie up there, all those cables, and then cut the other ones off. Move that around to the back. Why you do that, Jared? Keep it pretty. Keep it pretty. Keep it looking pretty. For me, it's not hard, but yeah, hard, I'd say, to believe that this boat was built in 1976, and there were so many things that just wasn't done. You know, the so many small things that just would have made life so much more comfortable. For not only me, but for people like me, but for anyone that's using the boat. I'd be putting that self-tailor winches on, running the lines from the mast to the front of the cockpit here to be able to reef your sails and to do all those things without having to go onto the deck there. This thing at the front here never had any gauges, so you wouldn't know what your motor's temperature is, or whether your motor's charging, the alternator's working, what revs you were doing, because everything was inside the cabin and absolutely nothing here. So you'd have to trust your instincts about your motor temperature and everything else. So just this particular boat, I'm surprised that nobody didn't take it upon themselves to actually do it before. And Compass Yachts is a yacht that's built here in Sydney, Australia, not too far from where it is at the moment. And they apparently they built 1,000 of these boats. So the fiberglass is solid, everything is built like a tank, but there's no bells and whistles on it. The other ones around me, they have some updates from the original, but most of all of them very still stock standard. They also didn't have windlass. That's the anchor winches. Don't have that on them. I had to do that. Sorry, been there, done that. Yeah, certainly been there, done that. The company that owns this billion-trillion-dollar company, I'm sure they can afford to give me a sponsor. I'll take the stubby holder off to show you what brand it is. Yeah, one day, looking forward to it. So okay, that's our aerial and the cable going down to the base. So that's done out here. So our next job is inside. That's actually connecting taking the coax and the plug and putting onto the AIS. I'll show you once I'm in there. As we say, the proof is in the pudding, and there you go, my AIS is working. So the aerial I just installed at the back there, it's doing what it's supposed to do. It's doing its job. It's sending a signal out to the other receivers and transmitting that, and yep, receiving it back and telling you where all the other boats are. Perfect.